Hey all you Slashaholics, I am Slash Sister Jen and I want to welcome you back to Slash Sisters.
Well, if you're Slash Sister Jen, that makes me Slash Sister Hallie. And we want to, yes, welcome you back to our spooky little channel for horror movie reviews by true horror movie fans.
That's us and you. So if you like scary movies, and I mean, don't we all? I mean, I know I do.
I mean,
wouldn't be doing this if we weren't.
Why are you here if you don't like scary movies? I mean,
make sure you slash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the fun, scary movie things that we do around here.
Today we are going to take a dive back into the world of the Deadites with the 2003 reboot of sorts. It's
she said really 2003, but she meant 2013.
Yeah, I know. You know what? It's been one of those days.
It's okay.
Okay. But it's a reboot of sorts. It's not an actual reboot, especially if you watch the unrated cut. It's definitely not
It's kind of a requel.
Yeah, before we know what a requel was.
Yeah, it was definitely... we didn't know what to call it then.
It revitalized the franchise, but if you watch the unrated cut, you will know why we say it is definitely a sequel and not a reboot.
Yes.
But exactly. What movie are we talking about? Why, the 2013 Fede Alvarez Evil Dead!
Evil Dead! Honestly, like, this is... It's my favorite franchise. I think it's of my top 3 favorite franchises, top 3 favorite movies, in the horror genre. It's the one franchise that doesn't have a single fucking miss. Like, it's good.
Well, I mean,
it hits good every single time.
But, like, the early ones, like Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, and then specifically Army of Darkness, leaned more heavily into the comedy than the horror aspect.
And fantasy, yeah.
This takes it back to the horror roots.
And even more so than even the original Evil Dead movie.
Right. It's not campy in any way. It's meant to be scary.
It is gory as fuck. Which the first original Evil Dead movie was very gory as well. It's just, you know, we've... From 1981 to 2013...
You can get by with a lot more shit.
You can get by with a lot more. The censors let them a lot more through. But the special effects and the makeup effects have improved so tremendously. And they used no CGI. They used a very little bit to kind of polish some things at the end. But it was all done practically.
I mean, I could see doing it for, like... a little bit of blood splatter here and there for like certain
and
things.
That was all they did. It was just
I know
basically
Walking
some
Dead did that
stuff.
a lot, you know, like when they're like decapitating things and stuff like that. But
but they literally used no CGI aside from just some finishing touches. But yeah,
which is honestly it's the way it should be done. If you can do it practically, fucking do it practically.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that now we're seeing, you know, we're 10 years out from this movie, well, 11 years out from this movie. We're seeing a lot more where they're incorporating CGI and practical together, and it's working really beautifully together.
Well, I mean, CG graphics have come a long way.
Even just in the 10 years from that, and you know, we were talking about Frighteners, which was one of the first like heavy CGI movies. We talked about that a few weeks ago. The amount of, or the difference in computer graphics from Frighteners to even just to this and to today is insane.
And like with Frighteners, it was a completely brand new company doing it, because you look at other movies like Jurassic Park, that CG still holds up to this day. Yeah. But we are getting completely off topic here, so let's roll it back.
Roll it in.
Let's roll it back to what we're actually here for.
This movie was, as Hallie brought up earlier, was written by Fede Alvarez, and actually co-written by Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sallegas, who, they're both from Uruguay. So, it was actually Americanized by Diablo Cody, who many people know for, like, Jennifer's Body. That's, like, one heavy horror movie that she's done. But also for Juno. So,
really?
Yeah. She was the one who actually Americanized the script to make it look, or make it feel a little bit more American versus what Fede had originally written.
And if the name Fede Alvarez is sounding a little bit familiar to you people in the know, he is getting ready to, actually they've already released the first trailer for Alien Romulus. He is taking over the franchise from director-producer Ridley Scott, and taking
Ridley Scott is still producing.
He's still producing, but he's not directing this one. Exactly. He directed Prometheus and Alien Covenant, but he's stepping out of the director's chair and letting someone else do it.
And letting Fede have his chance.
Right.
And it looks
it'll be good. It'll be good.
The trailers look amazing.
But of course, you know, if you have an Evil Dead film, you cannot have it without Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. And yes, they are both back producing along with Rod Tappert.
Yes, exactly. And they, those three have been producers on all of the movies.
Right, and I think they will continue to do it. I know that.
Who knows if any of them will jump into the director? I would love to see Bruce jump into the director's chair.
Has he ever directed?
I don't know. He definitely hasn't. If he's directed maybe an episode of the TV show, but I don't know. I would love to see some new directions being taken with this franchise, and we're definitely. Word on the street is that we're definitely going to be getting it.
I mean, there's speculations in the rumor mill that we're getting an animated series where with Bruce coming back and voicing Ash still. So that would be interesting to see. Yes. Not to mention, I'm still convinced that because we hear Bruce's voice in Evil Dead Rise that he went back in time.
You think so?
Until I'm proven otherwise, that's my running theory. He went back in time and tried to warn the priest not to read from the fucking book.
I can see that. Yeah.
I mean,
he's been back in time once before.
He's been forward in time too.
Yep.
So anything's plausible.
Yes. So let's cross the Book of the Dead off our reading list and join the army of darkness. Don't resist. I can't stop. You guys.
Can't stop.
Won't stop. That's right.
Okay, well, we start our story with a girl tied up, now that we're 8 minutes into this fucking video. Tied up in the cellar in a remote cabin where an old woman is reciting incantations from a strange book in a Welsh language.
The girl reveals that she is a Deadite. I mean, essentially, yes. For people that have known the Evil Dead franchise before this movie, we find out that she's a Deadite. She pleads with her daddy and tries to beg him not to kill her, but he lights her on fire and then shoots her in the head.
And blows her fucking head off.
Yeah. So.
Not just shoots her in the head, blows the head clean off.
Blows it clean off. And that is the start of our movie. That's our cold open. What an opening.
Right. Next, we are greeted by some beautiful aerial shots as we follow a Jeep on its way to the very same cabin that we all know and love so much. We just cannot get away from the cabin.
At the cabin, we meet our group of 5, because it has to be 5 people in that cabin, which consists of David and his girlfriend Natalie, Eric and Olivia,
and the most perfect introduction to our main character, Mia, as they show her sitting on a rusted-out classic. Too bad it was not the Delta classic.
I know. Now, see, it sure damn looks like it. Are we sure it's not the
I don't think it is, and
I wouldn't be surprised if Sam was like, "You better put my fucking car in there."
They should have put it in Evil Dead Rise.
It's been in I know.
They could have easily put it in
the parking lot.
Right,
Come on.
Exactly. Just in the background, but no.
Anyways.
We'll get to that one, too.
The group's plan is to stay in the cabin while Mia overcomes her heroin addiction. It is made pretty clear that this isn't the first time that they have tried to help Mia kick the habit. And
I think it's interesting that they had her do like this ceremony of dumping out the heroin. They dumped it in the fucking well.
I know.
The well. What?
Yeah, let's
contaminate our drinking water, shall we?
We'll all get a little high. Anyways.
Mia begins having withdrawal symptoms. I mean, yeah, anytime you take any type of hardcore drug, I get withdrawal symptoms off caffeine. So.
Yep.
Claiming there is an awful smell in the cabin that no one else can smell.
There's something dead, and it reeks.
Yeah.
Apparently, her senses are a little heightened at this point, because she's not wrong.
No, she's definitely not wrong. David and Eric discover the cabin cellar, which, of course, they decide they have to go down there. I mean, why wouldn't you? You gotta explore, right? Go down to the cellar.
Fucking tropes! In the cellar, they find rotting animal corpses and a whole bunch of puzzle pieces and... no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong movie.
Oh. That was last week, Hallie.
Yeah, that was last week. But they do find a bunch of rotting corpses of animals and a worn-out double-barrel shotgun. And a book that's wrapped in black plastic.
Right, a black plastic bag and barbed wire. Yeah. I mean, it is like...
It is called the Notorum Demonto.
Yeah.
Basically, the Necronomicon.
The Necronomicon. I think they actually call it the Notorum Demonto in
the original Evil Dead.
As well.
Yeah, they don't call it the Necronomicon until
Evil Dead 2. And then they definitely call it that in Army of Darkness.
Right, they call it the Necronomicon Ex Mortis in Army of Darkness.
Exactly. Even though we all know he shouldn't be reading from that fucking book. And despite the fact that there is multiple warnings, not just the plastic, the barbed wire, but actual physical warnings written on the book.
In English.
Do not fucking read this shit.
In English, no less.
In English. He decides he's going to read it anyways. And he reads an incantation from the book. Out loud.
Mia begins seeing a demonic doppelganger of herself in the woods.
Yeah, she kind of like runs out of the house because she like can't
freaks
the smell.
Out. Yeah, right.
And she gets, just a lot of things. Out. She's just like... She like runs out, and doesn't she end up like throwing up too?
Oh yeah,
she throws up.
She throws up multiple times.
Yes, she does. But she throws up as he's reading that incantation. Yeah, like we get that kind of tracking aerial shot,
right?
That we love in the Evil Dead movies.
The Deadite shot.
Yeah. So then she ends up stealing Eric's car. She's like, "I'm leaving. I'm done. I can't do this." And everybody's like, "No, you're not going anywhere."
Right. Well, they try to stop her.
Yeah, they try to stop her, and she steals Eric's car and ends up crashing it into a pond. The force of the accident chases her out into the woods, and this is where her arms and legs are trapped by vines, and Mia's doppelganger, really, I mean... It's her.
She's, for lack of a better term, molested by the vines and trees, just like was it Cheryl in the first one?
Yeah. So let's talk about this for a second, because Sam Raimi has said that he regrets putting the tree rape scene, the tree assault. Sorry,
no, we can say it. We're not monitoring.
Our word. The tree scene in the first movie. He regrets doing it, but then he did it in the second one. And then they did it in this one. And they just won't stop with the freaking...
In Evil Dead Rise, it's cables.
Yeah.
And electrical wires.
Inside of the elevator, yeah. So, I mean, like, you could say you regret making that decision, but you clearly don't, Sam.
I mean, he may have regretted putting it in there because of the sexual context, the overtones, and the implication of it. Mm-hmm. But, let's face it, it sells.
It does. It does, and it doesn't... It also, like, feels like now, it feels like we have to have something similar to it. You know, like we got the elevator scene in Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
There's always going to probably be some kind of nod to this scene.
I think that there will, just because it is such an iconic scene that everybody from, like, throughout the entire history of this film franchise knows and loves.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, the other thing, and I'll say this, I mean, we'll mention it as we're going along, there is a lot of, like, direct nods in this film to the first one.
Right.
So, David finds their dog, Grandpa. Who names their dog Grandpa? I don't know. Whatever. That's funny. Yeah. Has been beaten to death, and he, like, assumes that it's Mia. Because, well, Mia's kind of going crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know, there's the withdrawals and then the possession.
Yeah, that possession
when he goes to confront Mia about it, he finds her scalding herself with boiling hot water.
Yeah, I don't know how the water in the shower got that hot, because I take some real hot showers.
If you watch closely, the pilot light in the hot water heater, like, gets turned up. Like, it, like, magically turns up. I mean, obviously, unseen force turning it up, but yeah, and we find out that this actually references something in the book.
Yeah, itself. Eric, like, goes back to the book, and he's, like, sees that it's basically another step in the process of the possession of whoever is being possessed. It's documented in the book.
That night, a deadite Mia shoots at David with a shotgun. I think she actually nicks him.
Like maybe in the shoulder or something. She definitely hits him.
And then he vomits red bile onto Olivia's face before Eric locks her ass in the basement.
Yeah. So now we've got deadite Olivia, though, because she kind of wanders off with blood covered all over herself, and Eric goes to find her and opens up the shower curtain, and she's sawing at her face.
Well, she broke the mirror.
Yeah, broke the mirror
and is using a piece of the mirror and sawing
her cheek open. Yeah, ugh. And then she stabs Eric with a hypodermic needle, and he ends up bludgeoning her to death. Which, I mean, he made quick work of that one.
I think I would have too.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I mean, sorry, I love you, but if you are carving your own face out and you're a deadite, I'm probably going to try and kill you. I'm going to do my best to kill you.
I would do the
I
same
would want to release you from the deadite.
Mia lures Natalie into the cellar and bites her hand before slicing her own tongue.
Ugh!
David helps Natalie escape.
Yeah, that scene where she licks the freaking box cutter. Ooh! Oh, it's so good.
It is so good.
And again, like we said at the beginning of this, 100% practical effects. You know? So good. So good. Eric explains that, according to the book, the Taker of Souls must claim 5 souls to unleash the abomination.
Where have we seen this before?
I don't know.
Natalie's arm becomes possessed after having been bitten by Mia, and in a nod to the original,
don't cut it off!
Which is hilarious because instead of a chainsaw, she uses
an electric slicer.
Yeah, right, and cuts her own arm off. Not at the wrist, not at the elbow, but up above the fucking elbow into the thickest part of the arm. With an electric carver.
I mean, you could see. I mean, she was trying her best to like stop the infection, I guess.
Right, but
yeah,
an electric carver would not
go through the bone. Yeah, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
It doesn't even cut turkey bone.
No, it certainly wouldn't cut through the larger bone of your arm. Right. Eric tells David that there is actually 3 different ways that the Deadites can be defeated. They don't call them Deadites in this movie.
They don't call them Deadites at all, but we know
them as Deadites. In fact, I think the only movie that they call them Deadites is Army of Darkness. Yeah. So, anyways, he tells them that she must be purified by either live burial, dismemberment, or burning. Or, maybe a combination. That's what they did in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
They burned her and then shot her head off.
Right, well, that would be dismemberment.
Yeah.
So, the cutting of the arm off didn't help because now Natalie is a Deadite and begins attacking Eric and David with a nail gun.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah. She shoots, I mean...
Sorry, I'm pretty handy with power tools and stuff like that.
She really is. She's got a nail gun.
I've got several nail guns. That being said... Unless you've modified the said nail gun, they will not fire
shoot like that. Yeah.
They're not because you have to. There is a paddle you have to depress.
You have to push
when you push down for it to fire.
Yep.
It's a safety feature.
Yep.
Even back then they had them.
Yep. So David with the shotgun shoots her other arm completely off, which I guess dismembers her, and then she bleeds to death. Because that's the end of Natalie. We never see her again after that.
That is true. I never thought about that. You're right.
I mean, like... Well, let's be honest. Rules in the Evil Dead franchise are kind of fast and loose.
Right. But honestly, you cut someone's arm off without treatment, they're going to bleed out.
Yeah.
Just one arm will bleed out.
But they're a Deadite. We've seen how hard it is to kill Deadites before.
So,
I feel a little about that Natalie one, but... It is what it is. She dies from her injuries.
Right. David then begins dousing the house in gasoline, but decides to bury Mia instead. Which they actually did bury her for real life.
Yeah, I heard that they actually, it was, they completely buried her and then unburied her.
Well,
it was part of the...
So they had the, it was a very shallow hole that they had dug, and I seen this in like behind the scenes making of and stuff like that. They had like a piece of plywood that they put down covering like her top part, and then they put another piece of plywood over her face to cover like
so that she wasn't getting dirt directly on her.
Right, but
she didn't have it piling up on her.
She was literally buried alive, and Fetty was like next to the grave, for lack of a better term, asking her, "Are you okay? Can you continue? Can you do this?" And she's like, "No, I'm okay. Well, let's go."
Yeah, she obviously didn't have any problem working with Fetty, and Fetty took really good care of her because then she went on to do Don't Breathe with him shortly after.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Yeah, Jane Levy, who plays Mia, she is incredible in this role. She really, really is.
David sedates and buries Mia, but after hearing her heartbeat stop, digs her back up and attempts to resuscitate her using a car battery and hypodermic
needles that he like stabs into her chest. I guess to try and create an electrical current.
Okay, so I understand that there is a massive, like, engineering, like, thing with all the characters in Evil Dead because of, like, Army of Darkness, where they literally make gunpowder and turn the car into a weapon and whatnot.
Yeah.
But what?
Yeah! Yeah. I don't know where he came up with this idea.
I don't know where he got the fucking hypodermic needles from, because...
Well, the nurse had him. Olivia had him earlier. Because she stabbed Eric with one earlier. So she had stuff like to help Mia get through like the DTs.
Those are some big.
I know they're big ones. They're big ones. Anyways, yeah, he ends up finding Mia alive, and then enters the cabin to get the keys to his Jeep so that they can leave. But Eric didn't die. Eric didn't die when he got shot up with all the nails and whatever. No, Eric is now a Deadite, and he stabs David. But David shoots the gasoline can with the shotgun,
effectively setting the house ablaze and you know, killing both of them.
Yeah. Him and Eric die in the fire.
So then we have Mia that's left alive.
Yeah, Mia's the only one left.
With David's death being the 5th claimed soul.
Because she technically died.
Technically.
And came back. So that was, I guess, not a claimed soul, but she died.
Right. We get one of the weirdest fucking scenes in all of the Evil Dead franchise. It begins to rain blood. Like, legit blood. From the sky.
Sorry.
Well played. And the Abomination attacks Mia as her demonic doppelganger.
Yeah, so it's like this... It's basically Mia as a Deadite.
Right.
Attacking Mia who's not possessed anymore. Yeah. So Mia severs the Abomination's legs with a chainsaw that she found in the work shed. But
I found myself saying that a lot.
I did too. Work shed. Work shed. But it overturns David's Jeep. Like, the Abomination throws the Jeep onto her.
Yeah,
and
she kind of like picks it up and tips it over, and then Mia's left
arm
hand
gets pinned.
Right.
Yeah.
And somehow she has the stupid superhuman strength to rip her own fucking hand off. Like,
she does that.
You see the meat and skin just ripped.
It's gory. It is. They show it all. They sure do show it all. It's not quite as visceral as it is in 127 Hours when they show him cutting his own arm off after he's been... Yeah, that movie was great. But, yeah. But she then...
I do appreciate how, like, there's a nod to, like, Ash's, like, chainsaw stump where she, like, just rams a stump into the thing to stabilize the chainsaw.
Yes, exactly.
And then...
I will feast on your soul. Feast on this motherfucker!
You know?
Yeah, then she proceeds to slice the Abomination in half with a chainsaw. And it falls down into the ground and sinks into the ground with all the blood that's been pouring from the sky! Sorry.
Yeah. An exhausted Mia leaves, unaware the Naturum de Manto is still intact.
Yeah. And, that's basically it.
There's actually a scene, like, halfway through the credits where she's walking down a road and passes out, and some guy in a truck stops and picks her up. And honestly, that would have been a great place for Ash to cameo.
It would have been.
It would have been. But
no.
Instead, at the very end,
all the way past the credits, all the way,
we get Bruce himself.
Groovy.
And that's all.
That right there, and this is only in the unedited version, mind you, the director's cut. That right there tells us that it's not a remake,
right?
Because he's literally playing Ash.
Yes, yes. So this is a sequel.
It's a sequel.
It is a sequel. Yeah, I don't know. Bloody Machete up for me. I can't say anything better about it. It's so good. I remember I saw this in theater. I was pregnant with my daughter. I remember that. I remember it was like I was pregnant with my daughter Olive, and I remember just feeling like when I walked out of the theater, feeling really, really happy and excited. Like it was one of those things where I was like, God, please don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up. And then they didn't fuck it up, and it was really fucking good. And yep, Bloody Machete up. I love it. It's a great movie. It's written well. It's acted well. There's really, I don't have any real complaints about the acting.
The only
Natalie's character was just kind of meh. She was just kind of there.
Like, the only qualms that I have with it is the suspension of disbelief for certain things, like ripping the hand off, cutting through the bone with the electric carver. Yeah. Other than that, this is almost the perfect film.
Yeah.
Almost.
It's so good.
It is.
It's gonna be always a Bloody Machete up for me. They would be hard pressed. They would really have to fuck up an Evil Dead movie for me to not have a Bloody Machete up for it. Because I'll be honest, I'd probably still give a Bloody Machete up to every single damn Scream movie, even though there's some real turds in there. But I just love them so much, and I can't help it. Anyways, let's get this out of here. Let's talk about something. What are we going to do? Because I feel like we're going towards some newer movies. We didn't hit 2013. Well, we come a little bit closer to 2024. Just a little bit. Not too far. Not too far.
5 years.
5 years ago. Yeah.
5 years off. But we're going to revisit the world of Jordan Peele with his...
And don't worry, we're not going to stop revisiting the world of Jordan Peele, because that man has done a lot lot of really incredible things.
Right. But this is his second...
This is his second feature film. Yep.
Second feature film, and it's kind of ironic because we're actually going in order of when these.
I know we did Get Out, and now we're doing Us.
We got Candyman coming up.
Yep, and eventually we'll get to Nope too.
Yeah. Before the year's out, we'll get to Nope.
Yes.
But we are talking about the seminal Us.
Yes. Please make sure, if you have not seen this film, go watch it. Turn off our video now. Go to whatever streaming service. I'm not really sure what it's on. We'll post down here maybe if it's available.
If it's available anywhere, I'm not sure that it is.
If not, go to fucking somewhere and rent it or something.
Redbox
is gone. But yeah, go to Vudu and rent it. Find a way. Watch this fantastic film, and then come back next week where we will be discussing it in depth.
Mm-hmm. Until then, be sure to slash that subscribe button,
stab the like button,
and ring on that grave bell so you don't get buried alive. Stay up to date on all the videos that we post on YouTube.
And until next time,
we will see you all
in the afterlife.